I never expected a stupid dare to change my entire life. Honestly, if you had told me that a simple bikini challenge, something my friends joked about in our group chat, would leave me staring at a stranger in the mirror just days later, I would have laughed. Hard. But that was before everything flipped. Before the accident, the secret, the transformation. Before I started living a life I never planned for, but somehow couldn't walk away from. And it all started with one message. That you wouldn't last 24 hours in a bikini. I should have ignored it. I should have rolled my eyes, muted the group chat, and kept playing my game. But I didn't. Because they tagged me. Me. And I'm competitive. Too competitive. So I typed back. Watch me. I thought it'd be funny. Something we'd laugh about. I didn't know I'd wake up the next morning feeling like my skin was tighter, softer. Or that I'd catch a glimpse of my reflection and freeze, not because something was wrong, but because something was different. I remember that moment in perfect detail, like a photograph burned into my brain. I had splashed water on my face to wake up. I grabbed the towel, looked into the mirror, and I genuinely thought someone else was standing behind me. My jawline looked narrower. My lips looked fuller. My skin looked ridiculously smooth, like an airbrushed filter in real life. No way, I whispered, leaning closer. My own breath fogged the mirror. My fingers trembled as I traced the curve of my cheek, a curve that wasn't there yesterday. I told myself I was imagining things. Maybe I was dehydrated. Maybe the lighting was weird. Maybe I'd slept wrong. But then I looked down. And I felt my stomach drop. My waist was smaller. And my hips. What the? I stepped back so fast I nearly slipped on the tiled floor. It wasn't dramatic, not like a movie. It wasn't like I'd suddenly grown curves everywhere. But I looked subtly different. Different enough that anyone who knew me would have done a double take. My heart hammered. Should I tell someone? Should I call a doctor? Should I panic? Instead, I grabbed the stupid bikini sitting on my desk, the same one I'd bought as a joke for the dare, and held it up. A terrible idea. A dangerous idea. But God. I needed to know. My hand shook as I slid the top up. The straps rested differently across my chest, too comfortably, almost. And when I tied the bottoms around my hips, I didn't recognize myself at all. It was like seeing a version of me from a parallel universe, wrong yet strangely right. Unsettling yet hypnotic. I remember whispering, "Is this really me?" That's when everything started spiraling. I thought I could just hide it. Wear baggy clothes, avoid mirrors, pretend nothing was happening. But the world notices changes, even the ones you don't want it to. My coworker, Sana, squinted at me the moment I walked into the office. "You look refreshed," she said. "Skin routine upgrade." Something like that, I muttered. But her eyes lingered. Too long. My boss gave me a weird double glance during our meeting. A group of interns whispered behind my back. One said, "He looks different," and another whispered something I didn't catch before they all giggled. It wasn't hostility. It was curiosity. But curiosity can be just as frightening. Every reflective surface felt like an enemy waiting to expose me. Windows. Car doors. The chrome handle of the office bathroom. I avoided looking. I refused. But when I washed my hands and finally glanced at the mirror above the sink, I froze again. My face had taken another step. Softer. More symmetrical. My nose slightly narrower. My lashes subtly longer. My reflection looked at me like it knew something I didn't. "What's happening to me?" I whispered. The silence didn't answer. Outside, as I walked home, a group of teenage boys whistled, and immediately burst out laughing when I turned around. "Yo, sorry," one yelled. "Thought you were, never mind." My stomach twisted. People weren't seeing me as me anymore. They were seeing something else. At home, the bikini sat on my dresser like a curse. I should have thrown it away. I didn't. That night, curiosity won. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was fascination. Maybe it was the desperate need to understand. All I know is, I closed my bedroom door, locked it, drew the curtains, and stood in front of the mirror again. The room felt charged. Like the air itself knew what I was about to do. My fingers hovered over the bikini. "No one has to know," I whispered. My voice cracked, softer than normal. That scared me even more. I slid the bikini on again. And this time, it didn't feel awkward or ironic. It fit. Too well. My hands glided over my sides, feeling the narrowed waistline. My heart raced as my eyes trailed over the gentle but undeniable curve of my hips, the toned shape of my legs. When I turned sideways, I gasped. My silhouette wasn't masculine anymore. It was something in between, delicate, ambiguous, beautiful in a way that made my chest tighten. I lifted my hair, thicker and slightly longer than before, and let it fall again. What is happening to me? I breathed. But even in the fear, there was something else. A spark. A curiosity I couldn't deny. The next night, I added a wig. Then makeup. Then jewelry. Each time, the reflection grew more mesmerizing, more like a living character I'd been hiding my whole life. And every night, my real features shifted just a little more to match. My voice softened. My posture changed naturally. My movements felt lighter, instinctive. It wasn't just physical. Something inside me was changing too. And I didn't know whether to fight it, or embrace it. The first time I went outside presenting as the new me, it was supposed to be a joke. Just a late-night walk. Empty streets. Hoodie pulled tight around me. Nothing risky. But I felt bold that night. A little reckless. So I wore the bikini under my clothes, a secret that made my heart pound with every step. When I passed by a convenience store window, I caught my reflection. The hoodie couldn't hide it. My shape had finally crossed the threshold. Anyone would have assumed I was a girl. I touched the glass unconsciously. Is this really me now? A soft breeze brushed my legs. My skin felt more sensitive, more alive. Something inside me whispered, "Try it. Just once." Before I knew it, I walked into a quiet cafe at the corner of the street. "How can I help you, miss?" the barista asked casually. Miss. The word hit me like lightning. I should have corrected him. But I didn't. My voice trembled as I ordered. The softness, the new pitch, it flowed out effortlessly. And no one questioned it. Outside, 2 women smiled as I passed, complimenting my shoes. Another opened a door for me. The world was treating me differently. And I liked it. Each weekend after that, I pushed a little further. A new outfit. A daring walk through a busier district. A short conversation with a stranger. Every step was terrifying. Every step was exhilarating. With each outing, the girl in the mirror became less of a character and more me. Somewhere along the line, I stopped pretending. The truth was inevitable. You can only live a double life for so long before the worlds collide. One Monday morning, after a particularly bold weekend where I'd gone to a beach, yes, literally stepping out in the very bikini that started all of this, something irreversible happened. My transformation accelerated. My face was unmistakably feminine. My body curves were undeniable. My voice didn't sound like my old voice anymore, no matter how much I tried. At work, Sana cornered me near the coffee machine. "Okay, seriously. What's going on?" she asked gently. My throat tightened. "What do you mean?" "You look different every day. And today you look, I don't know, like you're glowing. But you're also hiding something. I can feel it." My hands shook. My heart raced. And then she said the words that broke the last of my denial. "Are you transitioning?" The silence that followed felt like a cliff edge. I wasn't transitioning. I didn't choose this. But I also wasn't not transitioning. I didn't know what I was anymore. I didn't know how to answer. Before I could speak, my boss called my name sharply. "Can I see you in my office?" My entire body stiffened. This was it. Discovery. Exposure. Judgment. I stepped inside his office and shut the door. He stared at me for a long, heavy moment. "I don't know what's happening with you," he said. "But clients have started commenting. People are asking questions. You need to decide how you're presenting at work." He wasn't angry. He wasn't mocking. He was forcing a choice. One life or the other. No more hiding in the in-between. I walked home that day with tears burning my eyes. I changed into the bikini, sat on my bed, and stared at my reflection. The girl in the mirror stared back, gorgeous, frightened, hopeful. This wasn't a costume anymore. This was me. I went to work the next day with trembling hands, but wearing clothes that matched who I'd become. Not the bikini, that stayed at home, like a trophy of everything that changed me, but a simple, soft blouse and jeans that hugged my new shape naturally. When I walked in, the office fell silent. Then Sana smiled. A real smile. Warm. Proud. "You look like yourself today," she whispered. Her words made my throat tighten. My boss gave a slow nod, acknowledging, accepting. And strangely, that was it. No chaos. No rejection. No humiliation. People adjusted. People respected it. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't performing a role. I was living. Week by week, I built a life that fit the person I saw in the mirror. A life that wasn't built on dares or jokes or accidents. A life built on honesty, confidence, authenticity. Sometimes I still look at that bikini, the one that started it all, and laugh. A silly challenge. A stupid dare. And now, the doorway to the real me. I'm not trapped. Not anymore. I am free in a way I never knew was possible. And if you're listening to this, wondering whether you're allowed to explore, to question, to transform, you are. And maybe, just maybe, your story is waiting for its own impossible beginning too.